Hey guys, Glitchmaster here with a episode of Glitchmaster Reads Creepypasta on the Creepypasta Wiki. I honestly don't know if this is a crap pasta, but you guys will be able to know because you get to know by whatever the title is. I don't know because I personally haven't read this pasta, so I'm going in blind into the eye of the storm. Here we go, and please enjoy whatever random gameplay footage I decided to throw in. Most likely gonna be Sonic or Mario, but doesn't matter. Here we go. I heard rumors about a video game console released in the early 90s that promised the most immersive games imaginable. It bore a strong resemblance to the Super Nintendo, except it had no cartridge slot, no reset button, how are you supposed to play games, and only one controller port. It was released in an extremely low quantity. It's possible that less than 50 were ever available. People I talked to who remembered it from their childhood only mentioned the first game in its list. Other games were included on the console, but this one was, they say, the perfect game. Yeah! Lifelike graphics and sound, even by today's standards, an endless supply of newfound content, solid gameplay, the controls were responsive to the point of precognition, they recall, and the single controller point was all that was necessary. The NPCs in the game were smart enough just to be entertaining as real players. It was quite literally a game nobody wanted to stop playing, and the people I interviewed all remarked somewhat bitterly that their parents forcibly dragged them away from the television set after a few days of continuous playing and threw the console in the trash. Sounds like what would happen if a kid was addicted to Minecraft. The parents would take the Xbox/PS3/Alienware and trash it. Sounds really resembled. But anyways, moving on. I was intrigued by what I knew so far, so I went looking for more people who remembered this relic of gaming history. I searched high and low for anyone besides the handful of people I had already talked to. And after a painstaking investigation, oh man, that's a big word, painstaking, I found two independent accounts. Oh my god! They had a much harder time remembering the specifics of the console, and I'm so sorry for those of you who are wearing headphones. But I was able to jog their memory by repeating what I had in the notes. I could see their eyes light up a little. Remember the perfect game, but both of them said that's not all the game could do. Both of them said the interface was complete, and I inquired what actually they meant. After a few days, apparently, the game started to have a positive psychological effect. It was as if the actions done in gaming were giving the player exercise, and the player was able to go without food and water, simply drawing sustenance through items collected in the levels. That is some serious subliminal messaging. However, after a couple of days, they had played this game continuously for a week by this point. They started feeling the damage done to their in-game character player. The pain was small at first and only a slightly forceful reminder to be more attentive. After a short while, the pain started getting intense, and the weariness of the constant action was taking its toll on them. The game was still perfect. It was better than any high you can imagine. Whoa. Wow. Drug reference. I went into that one blind. I would have bleeped that out. One of them said, but it was becoming physically exhausting to play, and they could tear themselves away from it. I was almost done with one level, and I was fighting a boss that used a whip, the other interviewee said. I remember the whip was a one-hit kill, and I had to start the level over, but I remember the searing pain where it lashed me across my arm. He then unbuttoned the sleeve on his shirt. Oh, no. No. When a guy starts unbuttoning his shirt next to you, you gotta go, man. Unless, of course, you could see the scar twisting around his arm. Yeah, it was getting that bad. Both of them said their parents returned to their house 9 days into the marathon game session and forcibly dragged them away from the console and took them to the emergency room. The console was gone when they got back home, thrown away like all the others, I bet. I cannot find any other people who even knew what I was talking about. The rumors stopped there, and I was left with incomplete knowledge about where I could even find one of these consoles, because I would want to play it after I just found out somebody got a whip mark across their shoulder. But you know what? This guy's really smart, obviously. A sense of dread settled in the back of my mind, though, and I felt it was necessary to pore through the newspaper archives from that period. I was trying all sorts of variations on the bootleg console, quote, in in an online database search, and what I finally stumbled upon was shocking. There were 15 separate incidents of people found dead in their homes, sitting in front of the TVs with a bootleg cooking console hooked up to it. They had a butchered appearance. Most commonly was some found in pieces, and autopsies revealed that the internal organs had dissolved. Man, you know what? At least we didn't get to hear hyper-realistic blood in this one. One article remarked that the TV was just displaying static and they could not get the console to power on. Local officials tried to contact the manufacturer of the console, but the owner's manual and the site information on a sticker of the back of the console both reference an address that led to the site of a warehouse demolished over 80 years ago. Okay, Grandpa, what were you doing making video games in a warehouse for the government? Because obviously you didn't have them back then. Grandpa, what was going on in your time? 80 years ago? Seriously? Jeez. Alright, I won't make this a crap pasta, but the ending was kind of rushed. And to be honest with you, that would be nitpicking. But what I didn't like was the butchered appearance, because that's a common, very, very good cliche, always used. But I could see, I mean, it was that, or he'd have to say hyper-realistic blood, which everybody would just hear the clicking sound that their computer mouse makes every time I mention that. So, in the end, what would you rate this pasta, and what would you think to do? What should I do next? And what would you do to make it better? Thank you, and goodbye.